Good morning, traders. Today is July the 19th. My name is Neville Hornsey, market analyst for YouTrading, and today I'm joined by
Joel Frank, also market analyst for YouTrading.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I mean, I know markets are, we'll talk about this in a second. Markets are a bit risk off and a bit dour this morning, but that's not my mood. The weather has been amazing and I'm very happy.
No, definitely. Yeah, the sea temperature is chilly, not cold, so it's all good.
Yes, that's always nice.
Yeah, talking about chilly, yeah, like you said, risk off. The markets aren't enjoying themselves, like in terms of the equities, the European bourses, like we were saying before, the DAX and the UK are actually almost dropping 2%. So
yeah.
What's brought all this on?
I mean, it's the main thing that's sort of changed has been this escalation of coronavirus fears and also travel restrictions, particularly between European countries, like between the UK and other European countries. They've been getting tighter. Also in Asia, this was weighing on Asian equities overnight. You've got lockdowns being tightened in Thailand and talking about lockdown extensions in Indonesia and South Korea, and Japan's not looking good. And Australia and Sydney, you got lockdowns. So it's just, yeah, like things look like they're getting worse at the moment with regards to coronavirus.
Yeah. And the UK today goes freedom.
Full
on freedom. Not.
It feels like it's a bit against the grain, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't know about you, but around here, nothing's changing. Shops are saying that you got to wear your mask, you got social distance.
I don't think much is going to change here either, to be honest. Like there are a couple of nightclubs. I live in London. There are a couple of nightclubs around that obviously they'll reopen, I guess.
Yeah.
But
do you think people are going to go? Do you think like the service industry is going to get the boost?
I think it's going to get a boost. It's going to be like a lifeline, perhaps. But I think there's still a lot of anxiety about, even amongst young people that aren't particularly vulnerable, because I mean, it is spreading a lot amongst young people at the moment. So I think it's still not going to be busy like pre-pandemic.
Yeah, because
nowhere near pre-pandemic.
Yeah, I was thinking this UK like drop that we're looking at right now. Basically, everyone that I know that's got children in school, the kids are being pulled out of school like a week early because of bubbles being burst. Then you've got like the Unite representatives saying that, you know, something needs to be done because essentially people are being told to go home. You know, they get the ping to go home, and then like industries basically shutting down. And then you have the big U-turn from Sunak and Johnson, who are going to trial.
Embarrassing.
I know, but like, they should have stuck with that and then told the rest of the country to get tested on a daily basis, just so we can all go back to work or go back to school or go back to the nightclubs. Yeah, it's just, why not just stick with the most common sense? You know, if everyone's around you saying industry is going to be like dying any second now, if people don't go back to work who have been vaccinated, it's just, I would have thought they had an opportunity to just change policy basically. But
I know, I think you're right, actually. Like, to be honest, this whole ping-demic thing is a bit gobsmacking to me. That's what people are calling it. Have you not heard that? Ping-demic.
I thought that was yours. I was like, that's brilliant. Well done.
Oh, no. That wasn't. I'm not going to claim that. Okay. No, I just been seeing various people in the media calling it a ping-demic. But yeah, this ping-demic, like, my opinion is it is ridiculous. Perhaps instead of being forced to self-isolate just because you can get pinged just because you walk past somebody in the street.
Yeah, if your Bluetooth like matches up with someone else, yeah, like you say.
Exactly. So if you get pinged, it shouldn't be lock yourself at home, especially if you've been double vaccinated, like you said. It should be, okay, take a test every day. You know what I mean? For the next 10 days or the next 14 days or whatever. I mean, like that way you can still. And then obviously if you do test positive, then obviously you be responsible and self-isolate. But it's exactly. that, like you say, that would be the common sense. But
they had the opportunity. If they were going to trial it, they should have just gone straight forward and said, like, everyone's trialing this right now. But
common sense hasn't been the nation's strong point during this pandemic, has it?
No. Okay, so it's risk off. Everyone's moving. Just looking at the YouTrading website here. So we're looking at yen strength.
Yeah.
But Swissy, not so much. Dollar, loads of strength. So everyone's moving towards the dollar or the yen, which is good for the dollar CAD. Oil. Last week, oil. How do you see that
Yeah, I
out?
mean, I'm still like OPEC have made this deal, which I think is a net positive actually for oil because the biggest risk, in my opinion, was if OPEC wasn't going to be able to make a deal, then OPEC could collapse and you could go back to a price war.
Yeah.
So that risk has now been taken off the table. And yes, they are going to be increasing output by, I think it's 400,000 barrels per day. They're going to add that every month now until they fully unwound their cuts, which I think will be like next September. And they've also got this. This was actually the source of the original disagreement, but the baseline production levels from which they calculate the production cuts. Some of the countries are getting an increase from May next year.
Okay.
So like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Russia, a couple of other countries are getting quite a big increase in their baseline production levels. But that's a long way in the future. So I don't think crude, especially like front month crude oil.
Yeah. So what about the oversupply is not going to happen. It's still a tight market now, isn't it? So we're not thinking oversupply right now.
Yeah, 100%. That's it. Tight market.
And I guess, so yeah, a drop in oil should be coronavirus related, really, mainly.
Yes, I mean, if because like we've been saying at the start of this, like the coronavirus situation has been deteriorating. If we do head back to the kind of lockdowns that we've seen in the past, like at the start of the year, then that would be potentially a meaningful correction for oil. But as long as that doesn't happen, and I don't expect that to happen, to be honest, because vaccination rates are pretty good in Europe and the US. Yep. So I think that will stop a full-scale lockdown, which means, the risk of a meaningful correction in crude, I don't think is too high.
Okay, so maybe this, sort of dynamic support from the moving averages works either around now or maybe that it does come back down and touch the 200 EMA. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And that's this week, what happens this week? We got ECB, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, ECB is definitely the main event of the week because obviously they did this policy shift recently to, they used to say we wanted to target inflation at just below 2%. Now they're saying they want to symmetrically target inflation at 2%. Yes, kind of like that. It's like the Fed. Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was going to say like, they're kind of setting themselves up for a fail because how can you hit it like bang on? Like you can't.
It's like they failed with their old target and now they've made the new target even harder to achieve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I think the argument is that this is what some people are saying, because they now face the risk of missing their target by an even greater margin, that might strengthen the argument for more stimulus.
Yeah.
Which would be net dovish potentially.
Yeah, I see the whole
way on Eurodollar.
Yeah, I think the ECB is definitely going towards like green policies. So I think they're going to be looking for ways to introduce more stimulus through. I just think we're going to hear more stimulus, but maybe with an alternative twist, like the green sort of agenda.
That's probably true.
Yeah. The euro dollar, obviously, dollars rising and euros coming down to this trend line support. So
yeah, that is definitely one to watch. And I think, as long as this policy divergence between the ECB and the Fed continues, like Fed moving towards tightening, ECB moving towards potentially more stimulus, and especially if this risk-off environment sort of sticks with us for a couple of more weeks, that is a kind of trend line that I could see potentially breaking. I mean, I wouldn't bet on it yet until we get the technical confirmation, but yeah.
Because I mean, I haven't drawn a trend line, but you can imagine where I would have under the pound, but that's just broken through a lot of support. And this double bottom here, I'm thinking it comes down to test. So dollar strength. Kiwi, even they are tightening, but in terms of monetary policy, but even that's suffering today. So
the RBNZ tightening is the only reason why we haven't created through those lows. Because if you look at Aussie,
Aussie's just
look at Aussie, man.
Falling. That's coming way back down into this period
if it wasn't for the RBNZ, that would be the exact same chart for NZD.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we said dollar and yen are getting a bid, but the yen is obviously strengthening against the dollar because the dollar JPY is coming down. Bonds, I see this breaking out. I think we're going to climb above the 150 and then start going higher. But
you know what, with bonds, I think there's a risk that because for a very long time, there's been loads of like banks and portfolio managers and like analysts and stuff all of them calling for yields to move higher. Or the bond prices to move lower. So I've got a feeling there could be a bit of a short squeeze in the offing. Yeah. And like you say, if we do get a breakout above this kind of area that you marked up, well, then potentially you see some of those shorts getting closed and that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we
really
maybe not like all the way back up to the pandemic high, but
no, potentially that next area though.
I just think I read a little note from BlackRock saying they were going to put everyone's wages up by 8% because inflation's real. And I just think when I hear like headlines like that, that's the top. And interest rates don't ever go up, and bonds and yields.
Oh God, that you know, when it's companies putting wages up by 8%.
8%.
Oh my God, that is when inflation starts to be like a self-fulfilling thing, isn't it?
I mean,
God.
Maybe like everyone sort of jumps on that and says, oh, you know, to get the best employees, you know, the best of everything. Maybe, I mean, people should get paid more. That's the whole problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if the money's worth less, you got to get it paid more.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so maybe they're right long term, but I just think, you know, when you hear a headline like that, then yeah, that's kind of jumping the gun. Okay, so yeah, European bourses, like we said, are coming off. Then we've got the American indices just dripping down towards their sort of 50 period moving averages on the daily.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's going to be like for the rest of the day, I reckon. Maybe the rest of the week. Do you think it's going to last a week, the rest of the summer? What do you think?
It's tough to say because we've had these momentary scares a couple of times. I personally think because of the high vaccination rates in Europe, US, UK, whatever happens with the pandemic and the worsening of the pandemic situation, it's not going to be catastrophic. Like if we do see some lockdowns come back into play, then it's not going to look anything like the lockdowns that we had in January. It will just be, you know, a modest walking back of some of the easing we've seen.
Maybe regional, so like little areas rather than...
Exactly. Yeah. Like, do you remember when the UK government had those? They had like a traffic light system around the country, didn't they?
Yeah.
God, they've really screwed this. Have you seen all the stuff about the international travel? The traffic light system. They got Amber Plus and Green watch list, and
I just think everyone that went
crazy.
to Ibiza like this week, I just added another £1,000 to their bill because they've got a self quarantine now, haven't they? So bad one. Okay, so just looking through the active trader sentiment indicator, everything seems to be as it was. Maybe the FTSE here, the UK 100, 75% of the traders are long, so I think they're going to get squeezed. So bad one. But yeah, okay.
Maybe they're right. Maybe they're scooping up that dip.
Yeah, well, if they do, then that's a brilliant trade.
That's brave. So. It's brave, isn't it? Like that, you don't catch a falling knife. That's the thing they always said, wasn't it?
No, and that is tumbling. All right. Fingers crossed we do get some support, and because it would be nice to make some more new all-time highs.
Would. I mean, I would for US equities. I mean, I don't know about European equities. US equities, they've still got the backdrop of the Fed, which is quite supportive. I know they're moving towards tightening. And the other thing is yields continue to fall, which is very good for tech, which is obviously a big part of US equities. Also, another factor that we should have mentioned this week, important thing we got this week, we got some earnings out this week, like Netflix, Intel, Coca-Cola. So if US earnings are good, that could offer some support.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking another support that might come in is the child tax credits. That's like 10 billion over the next period of time.
Yeah, and then, the fiscal stuff is definitely worth watching too.
And I guess they're going to take the infrastructure bill to get like ratified or something soon. So
yes, they're going to try.
So yeah, I guess maybe the market's just pulling back, ready for a bit more stimulus. Who knows?
Yeah, consolidating.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Have a great week.
You as well, mate.
Right.
Speak next week.
Yeah, check you then. Bye.
Bye.